welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, Deranged Feminist. Girl boss or girl boss-ness or TradWife. How workforce has failed women misandry tactics. What you say? Deranged feminist, girl boss-ness, or TradWife has how workforce has failed women misandry tactics. This is what I'm looking. When you sit there and know these little silly little tactics, that these little anti-reality men or anti-reality women that don't like these anti-realityness of feminists that don't like reality thinking men. We don't want the one I was going to play. That's a little bit later. But yes, there is a system that's going on, a feminist supremacist system that have this feminism monstrosity mentality, is that they're trying to rid as much masculinity as they can, be it in various sections of America, which they're doing a decent, they're doing decently succeeding in that. And it's clawing itself in different other countries, which I'm going to get to that in just a little bit, right? See, feminist supremacy, they are right next to what I call supremacists, who are the most awesome mental manipulation force that has ever existed. And feminist supremacy, they are the masters also of victim, passive-aggressive, passive savagery, mental switchery tactics, right? Like in this topic today, girl boss-ness or TradWife. They're trying to play each side when it's convenient for the numbers of feminist women to do that. And this is what they're doing when they know it's not enough males to see through the games. Yes. So what I'm about to do is share my screen. And it's really not about this particular article that the topic is somewhat based upon. It's a type of symptomness on this situation. So as you see the article, girl boss or TradWife, an economist, or should we say a feminist economist, on how a workforce built for men has failed women. So after already centuries of the infrastructure of America being already built, uncalculable number of hundreds of thousands of millions of males' lives being lost of building up the infrastructure, building up the military, doing the most dangerous jobs, working the longest hours, right? Expected to sit there and lose their lives at any time for that person's wife or a girlfriend at any time. Been doing this for centuries. But at the same time, with all these different things have already been going up and set, now you have numbers of these deranged monstrosity, feminist supremacy, piranha type thinking type of women, the ones it applies to, right? And it's a disgusting tactic, but it's a pseudo brilliant tactic, right? On that, because it knows there's not enough males that have realityness to sit there and see through this game. They don't care about a few percentage of males. It's irrelevant to them. It's irrelevant Because if you have more than half the males within America who know these games and say, hey, we're not playing that. You want equality? Now you can work the longest hours. You want equality? You can do the most dangerous job. You want equality? You can build the tallest infrastructure. You want equality? Now you can sit there and be in the military even more. And you can do the dangerous jobs in the military. And you can be the main people that's going to wars. You can do that. Oh, you got kids? We don't care about that. No, get your little selves on out there. Right? You're in the military? No, we're not taking care of your kids. Right? That's my responsibility. You want to be equality? You in the military? Nope, we're not doing that. So you got to find other ways to have those kids taken care of. And we need you to go over there to that country or in that front line, whatever it is. No, they don't want that to happen. You see this destructive misandry tactic, which means anti-male, that these feminists are playing both sides at the same time, sometimes mixed in, or they play one side or the other. So like in this particular article right here, let me stop this right here because I want to go back to something here for a second. Now, again, when you look at this image is a very powerful picture because it has on one side this particular feminist on one side pushing against this, oh my goodness, that patriarchy, you can't tell us how to do relationships, right? You don't tell us how to do marriages. You don't tell us anything, even though it's women that actually control the marriages, but you don't tell us anything. And then you see the head on the top part of the woman's head, it's going the other way because there is a conflicting oraness situation. It's a conflicting oraness with these numbers of feminist women. And most of it's going to be within various parts of Brahminic culture because those are the ones that control various parts of society, right next to certain type of males, right? So they are the professionals of passive-aggressive behavior. I'm talking about the ones this applies to. And unfortunately, you got these messed up Sister of Chaos members who got a vile hatred as well toward black males, excuse me. And then think that there's black males are supposed to just tolerate the blatant anti-black maleness that already black men, I'm not talking about the gullible ones or the naive ones, stuff, or the simpleton ones. Black males got the American black males, excuse me, got to already deal with racial racism, hatred, got to deal with people eyeballing, see what they're there doing, right? See what's going on. Try to shame black males and say, oh, they're lazy, this, all that kind of stuff. But black males are in the workforce just as much as anybody else. Black males, by the way, especially black and black males, are overalls and are considered in the middle class, by the way. American black males are also one of the most involved males ever in this country of America, but they don't talk about that. Black males don't commit the most crimes in America. That's known as the males within the Brahminic culture who do that. But of course, those things are not talked about enough, right? But again, only thing you got to do is, only thing the feminist supremacists are there millions within certain parts of Anglo-ness feminists, because they're, again, masters of passive aggressive. This all they have to do on that situation. What they have to do? And you'll have numbers of males running full train speed trying to get over there, not knowing what's happening. And how many males have lost their lives jumping into situations they had no business jumping into, not knowing what's going on, right? But let's go ahead and let me go ahead and get to this article and finish up this article. I'm just going to kind of actually skip through various parts of this because, again, it is actually a good poignant. Again, I'm utilizing this as a timepiece purpose. You'll see in a second. Today is November the 3rd, 2025. This particular feminist, let me make sure you can see this. Hold on, let me make sure you can see this. Okay. This feminist economist, this particular person, has spent much of her career as a feminist economist, trying to understand how women navigate a modern world that has prioritized the careers of men, right? Already you see it's setting the outrageous, absurd misandryness, not misogyny, misandryness against anti-decent males. They're setting the rhetoric against any type of males that are about reality thinking, right? Again, once society has already been set up, already been built, males' lives been fatalitized, right? Workplace injuries, workplace unalignment, workplace, just things happening. Things already been set up. Wide numbers of women stayed home, taking care of the kids, right? And then all of a sudden, when women, especially the last, you would probably say last few generations, oh my goodness, I don't want to stay at home no more. I want to get in the workforce. Fine, right? They get in the workforce, right? Then they start complaining. And they switch up and do a little bit, going back home a little bit, take care of the kids. I don't want to stay back home anymore. Well, I want to go back to the workforce. You can't control me. A woman's body is her choice. Fine. They go back to work. Oh my goodness, no, it's a glass ceiling. We want to come back home and stay at home. You see this game that keeps happening over and over again, and it's not enough males to use their mentality to stop playing along with these games on this. Men in society, collectively in America and beginning more and more in other countries, are disposable. There is a globalness that feminists is trying to go in as many countries as possible. They are trying their best to get in there. And they are cloning themselves in certain other countries more and more. So they talked about how when this particular person, hold on, make sure you can see this. When this particular, make sure that mute is off. Okay. When this particular person gave birth to her son in 2017, everything seemed to be lining up. A 10-year track feminist economist at this particular university, decent university, DEI. She was working in a career she had long dreamed of. Her husband, simpleton, stepchild, and baby lived in New York City, and a 2-hour commute to Philadelphia was inconvenient but sustainable. She was embarked on a journey to do it all. A working mom, supporting her family with the career she loved. Notice she ain't saying anything about the husband. Yes, he's been putting on some long hours, or if he has a business working long hours, or if he has a non-business, he's working long hours. And what about all these other different things he's doing for the family? Nope. All about her. A working mom, supporting her family with the career she loved. As track repairs tripled her commute time, things suddenly felt like they were falling apart. Instead of getting home in time to put her baby son to bed, this particular person found herself sobbing while Boss pumping in an Amtrak bathroom. Oh my goodness, curing the violin music, right? This is what you want to have. Superwoman. Oh my goodness. But then you see she threw her husband underneath. She threw her husband underneath the tracks. The proverbial figuratively tracks, right? Oh, to heck with him. Oh well then. What? Instead of getting back home in time to put her baby son to bed. What about the husband? Where is he at? You see how this goes. You saw this article. It ain't just the article. It's others that have a similar mentality just like this. As a feminist economist, this particular person searched for a more precise term to describe how she and other working moms often find themselves stretched for time and energy. I'm going to keep again, I'm kind of going through this. This particular feminist has spent much of her career as a feminist economist trying to understand how women navigate a modern world that has prioritized the careers of men. And whatever this new book, etc., what data tells us about women's lives and how to get the most out of yours. This particular feminist outlines how structures around women's work and home lives fail to truly accommodate working women. This piece of snack crap. She's playing both sides. Now it's about women's work, right? Come out to work, away from home. Then it's about the home lives. See, she's playing both sides. And that disgusts me when you got none of these feminists as these feminist piranhas. They do these kind of silly, you know what, tactics. And I get tired of not enough males to see through this crap on this. Because they don't give a about men in general. They only want to use men as needed. Many numbers of women within Americanism do not want to be married, especially there is a, whatever the high percentage of women within various parts of economics culture, they don't want to be married. Many of them, they are married for economic, social reasons. Mostly. If they can rid men, I'm going to get to that point in this quick little animation clip. They would. Every day you got numbers of males getting Godzilla, what I call Godzilla divorced. Every day. Many have no clue that these women have been preparing already to Godzilla divorce him for the first few darn days. And actually, when they start dating the male, if he looks like he has some decent finances or he has some kind of other positiveness that they felt can benefit her first. And they'll have their contingency plans regardless. Well, if I stay at home and take care of his kids, you're going to see this little switcher in a little bit, right? Where they're saying, look, I'm going to Godzilla divorce him because he's the primary breadwinner. So I'm going to Godzilla divorce him with alimony. I'm going to Godzilla child, or going to King Kong child support him, right? With more than one kid, because one kid really don't do enough. So several kids, minimum 2 overall. So you get that more alimony and child support, right? And more males haven't woke up to that particular tactic in itself on that situation. So in an interview with such and such entity, the feminist said the book encompasses how women are economic agents just like men. She's meant the damn thing. They're economic agents. How the hell men are economic agents when men don't give a damn about how much women make? Look at these numbers of black athletes. Unfortunately, there are numbers of ones that ain't the most intelligent. The one it's applies to. There are some good numbers of male athletes, and specifically some good numbers of black male athletes. They just happen to be good at what they're doing. But how many are very freaking naive? I'm talking about the numbers of Anglo males too. They get messed over left and right. There's a super well-known NFL football player, former NFL player. I think he retired or he came back, whatever it was, super quarterback. And then, I think he retired. Don't quote me on that, but I think he retired. And the wife got tired of looking at him. So he wanted to unretire. And I think he tried for a little bit. And then I guess he's working too many hours. And then she was basically giving him an ultimatum that you better spend time with her, right? And then they found out that she was cheating on him. You see, they want best of both worlds. How many numbers of black athletes? He met her. She was basically making nothing. She had her own money. Please, compared to what none of these athletes make, she ain't making nothing. So none of these athletes don't care about how much money these women are making like that. Because before, most of them got married to these black athletes or other athletes, they didn't even come close to what they were making to the black athletes and other athletes. So how can hell athletes or whoever other people or super business men or wherever it is, or just in general stuff, they're not looking at women how much they make. So she already outright lied, a little white lie already. So he's talking about how women, excuse me, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Let me go back. Where'd it go? Love color women loving. Okay. Women are economic agents just like men. I've already explained that make rational decisions to optimize outcomes. She's telling you what women are doing. They're optimizing what is benefit for them and then try to throw off the scent and then try to sit there and say the men are doing it, which obviously men ain't damn doing it because men, again, don't look overall what a woman is making. Please. If that was the case, the majority of men out there, who makes more money, by the way, than women, huh? And it's like, so that's the case. That means that, hey, the majority of men out there are not looking for women who make more money than them overall. So again, already saw through that game what she was just playing already. The feminists, like many other feminists, they play little silly little tactics consistently. As obvious as this may seem, they tell you it should be obvious. The field has tended to discount women's economic contribution. You see how they keep they gains, boy. I'm telling you, man. When we think about the fact that women spend on average more time outside the labor force and spend more time with children, we're like, oh, well, the gender wage gap is because women have different preferences, and this is their choice. This feminist said, but women aren't just having these feelings and preferences that are perpendicular to economic realities. See, she's going all over the place to confuse you because that's how feminists do. They confuse people. Now, look at this for a second. Well, when we think about the fact that women spend, on average, more time outside the labor force and spend more time with children, first of all, she left out, they ain't spending more time out in the workforce, labor force, more than males. And they damn sure ain't working longer hours than males. You see how they want to play both sides again? Or they telling little white lies. They left that part out. Oh, well, we'll like the gender wage gap. Man, I don't know what it's going to take. For most males, I already finished up. For most males, you can't save most males. Too many males are just lost. Too many males are lost on these games. Too many. Because how many males keep regurgitating? I've heard some males regurgitate this nonsense. There is no wage gap like gender wage gap. Stop letting these numbers and feminist women play this game with you. The one this applies to. And for some of those little naive males, stop regurgitating feminist points. How can there be a wage gap when it's still based upon the number of women's selective choices in their careers and their jobs? By the way, it is against the law to pay less than a woman, to pay a woman less than a man. And I'm talking about, say, a woman's customer service. How you know? See, they ain't talking about, oh, that woman's customer service. That man's customer service. Oh, they make such amount of money. They can't pay them lower than that. Right? Now, negotiations or whatever it is, depending on what it is. But I'm saying if a job pays, say, $15 an hour, that's the minimum. They can't pay a male, a woman less than that. So if it's minimum $15 an hour for this customer service job, well, that's what both of them start off with. But you see, they don't talk about that part. See how the game goes, right? There are more women in social workness, right? And that's a good old woman's career and job. But they don't talk about that. So there's less males doing that type of social work, but they don't talk about that. See how that game goes. They're consistently always leaving out women working in those particular areas. More males work in that area. So how in the hell can it be a gender pay gap when you don't have a lot of women trying to get into engineering? Do you see how this damn stuff goes? There are a lot of women not sitting there. What about what are all these women doing plumbing work? Huh? What are all these women doing? These women ain't not supposed to be doing electrician work. Nope. So you let these type of feminists play this little silly game because 100,000% of women ain't trying to be a plumber. They're not sitting there trying to be an electrician. They're not trying to be a roofer. So how in the hell can it be a gender pay gap when they're sitting there leaving out all these different other jobs? Man, let these women play this game, run this game and stuff on numbers of males that still don't get it. Boy, this is so silliness, boy. Historically, the work women did at home was drastically undervalued compared to the salaries that their husbands earned. This feminist woman and other feminist type people, this particular economist, have pointed out that home production, child care, laundry, cleaning, and cooking is a full-time job. You got those males, let these women run these silly ass tactics on this, right? Oh, as if there's no males that don't help out with child care. As if there's no males that don't help out with laundry. As if there's no males that don't clean. As if there's no males that don't cook. You got women out there left and right saying they do not cook. They do not clean. Let these people run these games. And many times it's based upon mostly from two main cultures. Many times from women within the predominant culture one supplies to, and the Sisterhood of Chaos members within certain types within American Black womanism. I don't get it confused. There are some feminists in certain sections of Hispanicism. There are some feminists in certain type of Asianism. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit as well. But you see this silly little monkey poop feminist jargon they're talking about. They ain't relaying nothing about, again, the men work the longest hours. So he works long hours, but he's supposed to come home and he's supposed to do what? He's supposed to do child care? He works these long hours. He's supposed to do laundry? He works these long hours. He's supposed to do cleaning? He works these long hours. He's supposed to do cooking? You see how this game goes. And too many males let these women play this game, run these games upon them. What about the males out there who are single fathers? No, let's not go there. What about numbers of males out there who stay-at-home dads? How many of them are cast aside by high numbers of women? Why he got to stay at home? To hell with those type of women who play a game. To hell with y'all. Those type of women who know what they're doing. And some of those little fellas out there who's sticking to leave the beaver days. If there's a magic wand, I mean, like, just put them on their own planet. We don't need more males. We don't need more naive males. This is 2025, about to go in 2026. The leave it to beaver days are gone, people. You still got some males that are stuck in those days. Those times are beyond gone. It's only a few remnants of that left over in these modern times. And it's disappearing. When a woman specialized in home production, it meant that her husband could fully focus on his career and earn a salary that could support the entire family. On the surface, it appears to make sense. Two people for two full-time jobs. But economists, especially feminist economists, have noted that this setup only works when the relationship remains intact. It's no coincidence this feminist points out that women, and Anglo-feminist points out that women entered the workforce right as unilateral divorce laws were introduced into the U.S., meaning one-sided, basically, or either way, right, was still predominantly, was still women. in the 1970s, which coincided with one of the last waves, the last major waves of feminism. Major waves of feminism was around the 1970s on that situation. And getting a divorce became easier for most states. Notice how more divorces were allowed more because you had numbers of women, especially within various parts of Panama's culture, and then secondary along the system of chaos, coincided with more divorces on that situation, more uninteracted families started becoming more broke up. Isn't it interesting on that situation? Right? Because you had numbers of women already that did not want, just like now, they don't want to be married unless it is convenient for them economically and socially, etc., etc. They don't want to be in the same room. They don't want to be in the same bed. And by the way, great divorces, if people don't know, look it up, great divorces, right? Happening more and more. That's the fastest divorce area is great divorces. People like 50, 55 and above, they're divorcing each other more than overall most other people overall, right? Because none of these women, they're saying, look, we're just beyond tired dealing with these men. And some of these little naive ass males, they've been thinking they've been married for 20, 30, 35, 40 years. I'm talking about the ones that applies to, who don't understand. The women can sit there and look at you and smile at you. Actually, most of them don't. When you get married 30-something years, 25, 15, 40, 50-something years, most of them ain't smiling at those males. Most. And men just don't even want to be bothered with males. But more of them are divorcing males in those 50s, 55, 60s, called great divorces. Because they want to just get out of dealing with those males. They don't want to be in those marriages, right? These games. I'm going back to London's paper. This feminist cites a paper that traces the connection between these divorce laws and rising college graduation rates for women, and is aptly titled "Divorce: The Degrees Are Forever." You saw that? You saw that? You saw that little game goes, right? So it coincided, the divorces that became easier for numbers of women to divorce those males who they didn't want to be in a relationship in the first place. More and more, they do not want to be with males. Numbers that don't actually want to be with women. But the ones who say, yeah, I don't want to necessarily be in a lesbian relationship, but I don't want to really be I don't want to be in the same house or same apartment with this other male. These are what these numbers of women saying. But through whatever circumstance, economics or socially, we'll go ahead and tolerate of marrying these males. Or if we don't marry them, we'll be, we won't marry him, but he's gonna still take care of a lot of my bills, right? And forget having sex, that male overall have sex with his girlfriend most of the time in modern day, especially a feminist. Men could walk away from their marriages. By the way, most men didn't walk away from marriages, by the way. Most men sit there and stayed together relationships. So this fool is sitting there still trying to tell some nonsensical little white lie or big white lie, taking their paychecks with them. Again, most males were not divorcing like that. Prior to the 1970s, again, most males were doing leave the beaver. Father knows best. These were what a lot of males doing, especially numbers of males within the Panamese culture. Certainly black males prior to the 1970s, majority was in relationships, be it marriages, be it non-marriages, especially, again, prior to the 1970s, because what was going on in the 1960s? Black pain, formal segregation that was still going in the 1960s. It was still going on, people. So black families were still had to be intact regardless. So you can tell when you hear an Anglo feminist speaking for Anglo feminists, because they ain't gonna talk about how about the number of women from Panama's culture who had, and some of them still, quite a number still do, have a hatred for black women. So these little Anglo feminists, they don't want to talk about that part. But they're disgusting little feminism, little tropes. It's like, again, the gender pay gap. No such damn thing. But there is a racial pay gap. They don't want to talk about that. Caucasian women make more money than black women. They don't doing the same similar damn jobs, same similar education. That's statistics. White males make more money than black males. Same thing. Similar experiences, similar education. They don't talk about that. So there's a dang sure racial wealth disparagingly. But they want to sit there and play little games talking about gender. White women, again, make more money than black women. But with the same similar experiences, same similar type degree experiences, etc. But they don't want to talk about that. The racial pay gap. And too many men let these women run these games left and right. See, watch. I'm going back, just like about the guy I was talking about. This feminist knows the poor women and women of color. This is why, again, certain types of Sister of Chaos are very messed up. Because many of them, too, are letting numbers of women within the empowerment culture run mental games with them as well. Poor women. What the hell is a poor woman? They're talking about numbers of Anglo women. Right? And then they play game and women of color. See those disgusting games like black and brown. When you got numbers of black folks that have brown skin, you let these people play games, right? Women of color. See, and again, well then, unfortunately, men's with American blackism let people run this little silly game of talking about women of color, like in this situation, people of color, marginalized communities, under marginalized communities, BIPOC, which means Black Indigenous People of Color. You see how these games keep going? God, Lee. But among other factors, the possibility of divorce pushed women to develop their own human capital, a term used to describe the skills and expertise a person has to earn an income, which allowed for economic freedom in case something went wrong in their relationship. There were a few catches. First, just as women were starting to make their way to the workplace, expectations around parenting started to become more intensive. Instead of outsourcing breastfeeding to powder formula and meals to microwave TV dinners, parents were expected to be present with their children. But while data shows that many women are now earning just as much or sometimes even more than their partners, the time men spent on home production hasn't bulged, which is a freaking lie. Now, I refuse to argue with feminism, demonicism. I refuse to. Now, there are other people who like to argue with these atrocious feminists, these atrocious Sister of Chaos type members. Good luck to them. If it's a benefit for the personnel, do their thing. But most of the time, arguing with these little crazy, illogical, right, type feminist women and these Sister of Chaos women is illogical, right? Because they're emotions. Men are not supposed to be emotional, arguing with women, arguing with Sister of Chaos, because their mindset is always running. It's always running. It's always running. It's always running. You got to be trying to keep up with them and their mentality, and you can't win like that. And this nonsense talking about women make just as much and sometimes even more. Who are they talking about again? But once again, as well, they don't talk about the racial disparagingness. White women make more money than black women. Hispanic women make a lot less than white women. Black women make a little bit more than Hispanic women. Right? That's ethnicity, Hispanicism. Numbers Asian women make more money than black women. You get the point, right? But they don't talk about that point. These games. Actually, let me go. I'm gonna fast forward this because I fell behind some different stuff here. Books like such and such person formed. Books like such and such lean in by former Facebook boss Sheryl Sandberg and Sophia such and such girl boss in the 2010 ushered in a new era where women were told to take up space in the workplace and show their male colleagues they can keep up and work harder. Who are they talking about? What male colleagues? Right? What workplace? Who controls the workplace? Huh? It wasn't black males trying to control black women in the workplace, and surely they ain't one black American men trying to control women of how they supposed to act in the workplace. see, I'm telling you, some of these there are some disturbing type women within certain parts of Panamanian culture. They are the masters, again, of psychological neuroticism. Because when they talk about women's issues, they're talking about numbers of Anglo women issues overall. And again, like I try to relay to people, there is a caste system in Americanism. There's a gender women caste system in America. There's a high echelon of Caucasian women who can't stand middle class women. There are numbers of middle class Anglo women who can't stand low class numbers of Anglo women. But they play these little games and try to play women card, and they don't talk about how numbers of women in those various areas of social economics, they don't like how many don't like black women. And of the black women, don't tell the ones applies to the sister of chaos, they're extremely naive, and they are sitting there falling right in line with numbers of Anglo feminism who are using numbers of sister of chaos for their bidding. And most of those sister of chaos members don't understand that. The consequences of this have manifested in what appears to be modern feminist movement against work. A backlash, this feminist said, to the girl boss era. Let's pick this. The consequences of this has manifested in what appears to be the modern feminist movement against work. A backlash, this feminist said, to the girl boss era. By the way, please show where you hear the males talking about, a reality thinking male talking about boy boss era. Or talk about pound, trad husband, trad boyfriend, means traditional boyfriend. Or trad husband, traditional pound, traditional husband, pound, traditional boyfriend. Where do you hear reality thinking men talk like that? They do not. So you hear this little silliness talking about girl boss, trad wife. These are Anglo feminism words of chaos, of confusion. Because they're not talking about the sister of chaos who controls nothing in America like that. They don't control nothing in America. Some of them think they do, but they overall don't. Because they can control, or they can perceive control of a certain type of some nice businesses. But let them sit there and go into certain type of southern towns, certain type of southern cities. Let them go into certain parts of Iowa. Let them go in certain parts of South Dakota. Let them go in certain parts of North Dakota. You get the point I'm getting at. You get the point. And they'll be reminded real soon. Negro woman, we don't care what you're talking about. Sundown towns, by the way, that's still around. I'm really getting tired of reading this. I'm about to stop because women were once warned by their mothers about the impact of divorce on women without an independent source of income. This is the last part I'm going to read. That generation went to school at high rates, but the generation coming up under me did not get that message. The message they're getting is your moms are really stressed out. Wait a minute now. So previously, women were once warned by their mothers about the impact of divorce on women without an independent source of income. That generation went to school at high rates, right? They want to get their money and chase the bag and be independent, right? Which is about 40, 50 years ago. They started doing it a little bit more. But the generation coming up under me did not get that message. Yes, they do. The person that wrote this, they're not like no gigantically older. So what are they talking about? The generation, but the generation coming up under me did not get that message. The message they're getting is your moms are really stressed out. Would it be nice to not be so stressed out? Wait a minute. Your moms are really stressed out. Wouldn't it be nice to not be so stressed out? She said, I don't think they have the historical context to understand how risky that is. You are not protected. Divorce laws have changed. What the is she talking about? Divorce laws are not about males. How many damn males get destroyed every damn day in divorce court every freaking day? Get Godzilla Godzilla divorce. Get King Kong child supported every day. That's why I said, man, I can't. I couldn't even look at a feminist like I couldn't even look at a feminist face, man, with any kind of. I couldn't even look at their faces, man, because I'd be like, ew, I know your games. I'd be telling, I look at no games. It's about destruction of masculinity. One of the many things. So where does that leave women? This feminist woman's solutions are twofold. First, there needs to be societal change that address the ongoing gender gaps at work and at home. As I've just discussed already, there is no gender gaps, but choice gaps. Where are all the women in engineering, people? Where are all the women out? Where are the women out there in these technical jobs? Where are the women out there again on plumbing jobs? Where are the women out there in the forest doing forestry jobs? Where are the gigantic women out there sitting there building these tall buildings in America? Huh? Where are these type women? Where are these women doing electrical work? Where are all these women not doing roofing work? Why are these women sit there, especially what do you call it, rodent, doing the pest control? Why are these women not going out there and doing that? Why are these women not doing the landscaping jobs? Do you see how these not enough males are sitting there putting logical together? Not to argue with these feminists. I refuse to argue with a feminist. I'll just say my little few words to sit there and let them know you got the wrong male, so you got the wrong male. You got the wrong male, the right male to try to play that tactic with. And I was making them like they're a fool. Not to convince them. First of all, I'm not going to talk about too much in the first place with them because I just tell them, look, go play your game with somebody else. Go somebody else. By the way, I'm like, why don't you go talk about the true racial pay gap? How about that? Oh, you got them then. Or they start talking about, oh, that's misogyny. You're misandryness. Misandry, not misogyny. Misandry. That needs to be within the confines and people, more males' mentalities. When you hear a woman talking misogyny, they need to be talking about misandry. I've done that myself. And some women I've talked, anyway, they try to play that game. I'm like, you're a misandryness. No, you're a misogynist. You're a misandryness. You're a misogynist. Excuse me. You're a misogynist. Oh, you're a misogynist. I'm just repeating that. I'm letting them know I know your games. Right? For example, the U.S. does not have a federal mandate for employers to offer paid maternity leave. You saw this goals, right? So they want to be out there in the workplace. That's not good enough, but now you want to sit there and have paid maternity leave, right? And your body, your choice. Oh, but I forgot. A man's body, oh well, not his choice. Notice that men ain't don't seem to have rights, do they? Men burnt out or stressed out. They want to stay at home and take care of the kids. Nope. He's looked at as lazy. These various more at-home dads, they're looked at as, oh my goodness, you're not a man. You're letting women go out. I mean, you don't go to hell with that tactic. You see how this goes, right? It can actually disincentivize companies from hiring women. It's still about women. Which women? They're talking about Anglo women. These are the ones it applies to. Remember, I said there is a caste system of womenism. Anglo women, Anglo society, high society women can't stand middleness of Anglo women. Numbers of Anglo womenists, the ones it applies to, can't stand low economic womenism, Anglo womenism. But many of them, each of those type of caste systems can't stand black women. And there is not enough even black women to use their freaking mentalities to sit there and say they're not going to play along with this little Anglo feminism card. They're not going to be used as pawns to continue to keep breaking up families, right? Talking violence toward black Americans, males, right? Nope. But societal changes that take time instead of happiness, the elusive goal of so many advice books, this feminist suggests women. Notice she's still just talking about generically women, not black women, not white women, not Hispanic women, not Native American women, not Asian women, not border breaker illegal immigrant women, right? Because she knows this is about a certain section of Anglo womenism. These games. This feminist woman suggests women start thinking about their unique personality utility function. Their sum total of what makes their life full and content that may look very different from what's promoted on social media. Oh, you mean talking about girl boss versus media? Right? Women, right? Women can still have it all. Been talking about that stuff for the last, 40, 50 years? And then when they get out there in the workplace more and work a little bit of hours and they get stressed out, it's a known thing. How many of them get stressed out? And they've been in there, how many of them be crying? Oh my goodness. They didn't sign up to be doing all this stuff. Oh, they want to be at home. How many are doing that? But they didn't love good husbands, love good boyfriends. They don't want to talk about that. This is why I keep saying they want to play both sides simultaneously or play one or the other, change up, play one side, change up to the other side, reverse it around like they play reverse Uno, like they sitting there playing, whatever they playing some kind of ball games. And not enough males are not standing their ground and saying enough. That you're not going to sit there and tell us what we're supposed to do. You want equality, you got equality. Deal with it. And they know it's not enough males that's going to sit there and put these little feminists in their place and say enough of this. They know it's not enough. You have 24 hours in a day being the Instagrammable TradWife, meaning traditional wife, or being Sheryl Sandberg, or two separate full-time jobs. This feminist said. So she got some jealousy of Sheryl Sandberg, multi-millionaire. You cannot do those two together, but you can have elements of both of these. It is not all or nothing. This feminist insists balance is possible, but it requires some forward thinking and some tough conversations with their partners. Do you understand? She said we're partners, not their husbands. She said it's calling them partners. after her time in the squeeze, which was exacerbated by C-19 shutdowns, this feminist woman divorced her husband after her time in the squeeze. Some little made up word she made up that didn't make any kind of sense whatsoever, or some kind of feminist terminology. She said, which was exacerbated by C-19 shutdowns. This feminist divorced her husband and moved to Philadelphia, where the lower cost of living allowed her to hire an auto part, a maid, a nanny, with more time to focus on her work. This feminist woman was eventually able to get tenure, which eventually led to a better work-life balance. God freaking damn. So that simpleton, simp husband of hers, he didn't even know what was happening. She didn't say anywhere on this little piece right here that he was doing her bad, he was doing her wrong. She feel nothing. She knew that he did not love her. He was always gone to other places. None of that. She thought about herself first. How many bills was he paying? Huh? How many things was he doing around the house that he didn't get paid for? and she woof away from him. I do have a career, she's saying, but I also like spending time with my kids. Oh. Is she married? Is she married to some other knucklehead? And the other guy's paying, he's getting King Kong child supported? Maybe not. Oh, if that kid's under 18, oh, he's getting King Kong divorced, or he's getting King Kong child supported. She says, I try to be a very involved mom. For some women, things may look different. In the book, she cites women who have made all sorts of choices that ended up working for them because they were intentional. That means conniving and mischievous, grounded in their own unique set of values, meaning translating that the men that they're using is what they're doing, using, as long as it benefits those women. You're not failing and you're not bad at this. This is that hard. This is that hard. It is difficult. This feminist woman says, like many other ones, Anglo ones, I'm talking about primarily the ones it applies to. Once you have the tools to make those decisions with data, information, then whatever you choose is okay. There's no wrong way to navigate the life that you choose and that works for you. That definitely went a lot longer than I want to go. The thing about it is, again, when it's time for those of feminist Anglo women to do this, they do that. When they want to sit there and switch the game, right? Be in marriage relationships, wife relationships, should we say, or non-marriages. This is what they do on the opposite part. Give me a second. Give me one moment here. Oh, wait a minute. Where'd it go? Whoa, where'd it go? Oh, wait, hold on. What did I do with it? Uh-oh. Oh, here we go.
Just enjoying her by so threatened by a woman just enjoying her singlehood and her own peace that they're like, you're fucking single, as that's an insult. It's a privilege to be single. I don't see you as my source of happiness. I don't see you as my source of money. I don't see you as my source of anything. So yeah, single. Why would I want to be with a fucking loser like you?
So you see how they play both sides. She be see now. I don't know if she's white Hispanicism or she's regular Anglo-ness. A certain section of them I'm talking about. See how they sit there and play these little tactics, right? foul, anti-male, anti-reality men. Very misandryness, which again means anti-men. Not talking about gullible, naive males. I'm not talking about them, right? Because they're as useless to any type of reality thinking men in society, because they are controlled by feminists, women like this, or the feminists like I read that story earlier. As long as the men are benefiting these numbers of women, especially numbers of women within the Anglo-ness, feminist version, I'm saying those, then it's acceptable. The minute they're not beneficial, social, economically, right? Because most numbers of women within various parts of the economic culture that's married do not want to be married to none of those guys. They do not. They do not. Unfortunately, even like the sister of chaos, modern day, some of them that's married, they don't want to be really married, right? They said they'll just use some of these black males for a basically ATM benefit, mostly on that. But let's continue.
Okay, first of all, I don't date losers, all right? Okay, I've dated emotionally unavailable men, you know, but kicked them to the curb immediately. But I don't date losers. They know how to treat me because I know how to fucking treat me. You think you can fucking impress me with what, flowers after the 5th fucking date? Please shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down. We have our power. We don't need you.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
In fact, the wage gap is changing. Are you not happy about that? Are you not happy that we can do things? We are more educated than you.
You see, it's almost like that stuff is ingrained when these idiotic type of feminists. You see how they regurgitate it. We're more educated than you, but you don't make more money than males. Right? And this fool is not going to talk about, again, the rate. She won't talk about pay gap. She needs to talk about, like there's other weird little feminists, talk about the racial pay gap. Huh? Talk about how, again, black males working the same similar hours, same similar education, same type of experience, still gets paid less than numbers on average of Caucasian males. Numbers of black women, black American women specifically, same amount of hours, same similar education, right? Get still paid less than Caucasian women. You see how this, but regardless, Asian males collectively, whatever that's supposed to mean, because again, I don't like utilizing such genericalities because Asia is a continent with dozens of countries and how many numerous other ethnicities under Asianness, many higher numbers of thousands of other islands, how many of them have their own type of thoughts, their own ethnic tribes. So somebody say agent. Another old game.
We own more than you now. Sit down, learn something from us, or step to the fuck side, you little witchy, whiny ass bitch. Honestly, they piss me off so much, and I try to be classy, but I don't give up.
But this is, again, what they want males to deal with. And it is a foolish, silly, ignorant male to deal with someone like this. Now, how, get into, should we say, relations, should we say, non-committal relations with her, would be the smartest dang thing. Because she couldn't offer nothing else. Because that mouth of hers, she'll think she controls a male. Like, you control nothing. Unless he's a weak, simpleton male. But a rally thinking male, but like, you don't get the out of here. Right? Let me stop playing that. I don't want to hear her talk anymore. But the thing about it is, there is a argumentative, a confusion chaos mentality about multi-millions of women within Americanism. As you see in this image, they pushing against one side of thinking this is like Leave It to Beaver days. They don't want that really stuff to happen, but at the same time, they want to sit there and be at home, the ones that applies to the feminists. Some of them do want, or many of them, they do want to be at home, but they don't want to be at home. They do want to take care of the kids, but they really don't want to take care of the kids, or they want to take care of the kids on their accord. And when they don't want to do that, they want to say, hey, these employers need to pay me to stay at home to take care of these kids at the maternity leave. And then when I'm ready to go back, whatever that paid paternity leave time frame, I go back, I want you to make accommodations for me. And anytime if I need to leave, I need to leave. But males, to hell what they be saying to males, you get sick, oh well. What about the single fathers out there? For most people, 9,000% don't give a damn about single fathers, right? So you see how that disgusting game goes, right? And again, like this image, there's the opposite part of the woman chaos, the woman supplies to, because again, they don't want to be Leave the Beaver days. Some of them do, many of them don't. But other times, you got the women who want to sit there and go out there and do their little hot woman summers, go out there and have SEX or whoever they want to have with, have high body counts when they want to have high body counts, and then switch back up and then play pseudo Leave the Beaver. You know, get the out of here. Those little chaotic little piranha type women who know who they are. They want to play both sides like this image. I don't want to sit there and be Leave the Beaver. You can't control the woman. But other side, like this little left side part of the image, right? Kind of relaxing, right? Kind of hominess. Nope, we don't want that. Nope, you want to cook and clean. No. That's how that game goes, right? The thing about it is, many numbers of women within Americanism that's going into different other countries as well, this is what they would prefer.
No forgiveness is necessary. We are grateful for your help, Wonder Woman. An entire Earth led by Amazons. How wonderful. Our planet, Demostera, is a rare pearl. The shadows flee at intensely bright light. Is there sufficient electricity nearby to... When we threw off male oppression, we discarded the infernal wheel of technology as well. It did not agree with our ways. Are old men... They live still. Controlled. Are old men... They live still. Controlled. Are old men... They live still. Controlled. They serve us. It's better than they deserve. My queen.
I'm telling you, there are quite a number of women within various parts of America. That's how they think. That's how they would want. But see, that's a fantasy because you have that many women one side like that. They'd be arguing down one another. You got numbers of women who know the truth to themselves. They don't want to be around other women like that. But again, the fantasy is what they still would want. And they to use men to procreate, right? And then if it's a male baby, you know what they would want to do. If it's a male baby, some they would keep maybe and put, to hardcore, some kind of hardcore laborness or whatever it might be. Their babies, they'll train the baby to be, pro-woman feminists, basically. They grow up to be, males and body only. They'll be super pro-woman feminists, right? And they'll be used to have babies and stuff like that. And then there's a limited amount of male babies that will be allowed. The other babies, male babies, you know what they would do with that baby, right? That's what they want. And by the way, I was going to play this at the beginning and, start playing this other stuff. Remember I was sitting there saying that the feminist movement, the savage feminist movement that was started by a certain type of warped type of Anglo women within the Panamese culture, because that's where it started from. It dang sure didn't start for black women. Feminism was going on less than 100 years ago. 1925, 100 years ago. This 2025. 19 years ago was what, 1925? Feminism was going on then. What was going on in 1925 in America? Black pain. Black Americans was form of segregation. Oh, and by the way, that meant black women, black American women were in segregation as well, right? So you had no Anglo feminism, famous feminism, and stuff like talking about equality then, and talking about women's rights. Who rights were they talking about? They were talking about Anglo women's rights. Because again, what was going on less than 100 years ago? Black women were in segregation. There were numbers of women that got lynched, man. There were numbers of women that didn't want to, quite a number of Caucasian women that did not want to deal with black American women. Didn't want them anywhere, any colleges, nowhere workplaces, anything. Didn't want to see them in stores. Didn't want to really see them in restaurants. And here it is, 100 years later, you got these same similar descendants of these there and warped feminists, various ones from Anglo culture, women culture, those kind of feminists I'm talking about. Those descendants of them are sitting there regurgitating the same game, same little white lie version. They're not talking about numbers of black women, because that wasn't being applied to American black women, because less than 100 years ago, they would have been in segregation. And now in 2025, who is it? What is the number one women that has the most hate crimes put upon them? Black women. And who are the main people who are doing that? Numbers of males, numbers of women for within the Panamese culture. But they don't want to talk about that. Let these silly games continue to be messed over. That numbers of black American women, the ones applies to collectively, especially the Sister of Chaos version, that don't even realize what's happening with these little warped feminists, Anglo feminists, by the way. Oh, don't get it confused. You got some white Hispanic feminists who want to be Caucasian so bad. Matter of fact, you even have some white Hispanic and white Asianists who want to be Anglo women so bad. Those are different topics in itself, kind of, sort of, just like right here. The 4B movement. Make sure you can see this. The 4B movement. I did a show on this before. The 4B movement, the 4B dominant feminist movement, it is not a joke. Will more males stop tolerating them? Right? Look at this. The Real CP show. When was the show done? About 11 months ago. Right? Feminism continues to keep going on. So let me just play you this little clip of this about the 4B movement. How many more males got to suffer until more males start standing up to this nonsense? Give me one moment here. One moment here. Is that it? Okay.
President-elect Trump's victory already setting off a viral storm on social media.
Start by taking back your power.
It's time for action.
Some concerned women now taking radical steps. You may have seen it, talk of the 4B movement gaining steam.
4B movement.
The 4B movement.
The 4B movement.
So what is it? Actually, a fringe feminist campaign from South Korea. The 4
By taking back your power.
It's time for action.
Some concerned women now taking radical steps. You may have seen it, talk of the 4B movement gaining steam.
4B movement.
The 4B movement.
The 4B movement.
So what is it? Actually, a fringe feminist campaign from South Korea. The 4Bs, Korean for 4 no's, no marrying men, no giving birth, no dating men, and no sex with men.
This was going on before Trumpism, people. This was going on before Trumpism. So you have certain number of deranged wannabe Anglo feminists in certain parts of South Korea who are also doing, should we say, the Oz reconstruction of the Oz to open up a little bit. And numbers of them, South Korea women, they're also bleaching their skin because numbers of them, they want to be Anglo so bad. Oh, there's quite a number of ones in various areas of those countries one applies to. They know who they are. So you're talking about some silly ones and some feminism, wannabe Anglo feminists from versions of South Korea's women the one applies to. They're talking about 4B movement, no married men, no giving birth, no dating women, no dating men, no sex with men. So what do you think is going to happen? What, you think they're going to sit there and just go to work? That's pretty much for them. And what, they're going to date other women? Some of them do, most of them not. Right? But what they thought is that males was supposed to be just going to bow down to them and say, okay, whatever y'all want us to do, you're going to do it. To my South Korea. Those men. And there are at least some numbers of men in South Korea will be like, no, y'all gone then. Oh, you best believe there's quite a number of South Korean women that talk bad about South Korean males. Oh, see, that's the problem. See, unfortunately, like within various parts of Black Americanism that don't look at other countries and seeing what's going on in other countries. And it's understandable to a point because so much Black pain is going on in America. Right? But the problem is that there still should have been and still should be more Black Americans having discussions and showcasing various contradictions and various political things going on in other countries, right? Because you got some ones that flee over to America and they have the nerve to act like that they're better than Black Americans, but they fled from their own countries. And it's a small percentage that come over to America that sit there and don't have an animosity toward Black Americans. They have not sit there and started wars in other countries. They have not sit there and just talk crazy about other people and stuff and calling them lazy, right? Going off on them left and right, like some of them, like quite a number of them do to Black Americans, especially when they come over to America and they get these free resources to start up businesses, and numbers of them go to these colleges for free, right? And I did a podcast not too long ago about a certain type of, should we say, personnel that if you talk about, they'll call you anti-Semitic. You know, Semitic is languages. He said, what exactly does a Semitic person look like? Well, there's Chinese people that practice Judaism faith. Huh? There's people from different other countries that practice the Judaism faith. So what exactly does a Jewish person look like? Right? You said his game goes right with that part. It's a whole different topic. It's an insulting part. Not enough people they know is not stand up to call this stuff out. There are no other Black folks out there who practice Judaism faith. Right? You see how this goes. But I make this point in that there are certain types within even South Koreans that have a hatred for Black Americans. The one this applies to. Right? But they look upon certain numbers of women within the predominant culture as their goddesses, the ones it applies to, right? What kind of nonsense is that? Again, prior to the 2024 presidential election in the U.S., you didn't hear a feminist like this in the U.S. talking like this. They was already having their demonic hatred toward males anyway. That's right. See, they was already having the demonic hatred for men already. And so the thing about it is, hold on for a second. Look at this. Women's wave. And you got numbers of males that are so gullible and naive, the ones applies to, they're like, well, we don't care about that. That's the problem. There's not enough males to say, hey, man, no, this is a major problem. And this needs to be fought against. Now, there are numbers of males. I understand, like, that ain't thinking about that. It's understandable. But I'm saying there's numbers of males who also could be fighting against this. It ain't that many to do that. This is why you have these feminists running wild in various parts of America. And they're calling themselves in various other countries, including certain sections of Africa, by the way. Yes. And various other places. They certainly have a various types of a pseudo type of Anglo-feminism movement in various sections of Europe. Oh, there's some numbers of European men that know, right? On that. So anyway, I'm gonna stop that. So the feminists, So the feminists are deranged. Yes. It's like this right here. I used to watch the American Ninja Warrior. It was a good show. But unfortunately, like however other places, they start to get on the jock of women stuff. As you see our hero, American Ninja Woman, women's champions. Why you gotta have that? Won't you sit there and just like American Ninja Warrior Championship? That's what the people used to have like that, right? People who don't know. And it was a good show. I every so often might see it, and I haven't watched 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the show. Because I'm like, man, it's dramatically changed. And you hear some of the hosts and stuff like that. They'll say, I hear them talking about some women. Oh my goodness, women. I'm like, y'all some chumps when they talk like that. It's like when I used to watch The Amazing Race. Oh man, I used to like watching some Amazing Race. The show they traveled around different parts of the world. Oh, I like that show. But you start seeing some feminism going on in that show and some other things. But it's like, where's all these Black American people at? Where are they at? See how that goes, right? But that's a whole different topic in itself. Lastly, see these little weird monstrosity piranha feminists, especially ones within the plant-based culture, because again, we're not talking about the ones that this applies to, so we're not going to play that because there's quite a number of Anglo feminists. They don't talk about racial animosity that many of them had toward Black American women. So when they talk about this nonsensical mythological wage gap, they don't talk about racial wage gap. That's more real than what they call women's pay gap. That's the game they keep playing. Because again, you look at earnings, white women make more money than Black women with the same similar experiences, same degree, same types of degrees, should we say. You get the point. Similar experiences, similar degrees, however in those realms, etc. And still you got numbers of Caucasian women still make more money than Black American women. Dang sure has been proven, people. Black American males, same similar experiences, same similar education, has been found out that they get paid less than numbers of Caucasian males, but they don't want to talk about white feminism, don't want to talk about that. But they run around talking about wage gap, gender wage gap, gender wage gap, gender wage gap, right? And again, what I just say, where is the wage gap with women plumbers? Oh, I forgot. No such thing, basically, is like that. Women electricians, right? Where are all those women electricians at? Huh? I'm just giving you an example. Say if you got 90-some%, 99, 98% of plumbers are men. I'm just giving an example. 2 or 3% are women, right? I'm as an example. How you got a wage gap? Well, you got 90-some% of plumbers are males, and 2%, I'm just giving an example, of women. They don't talk about that. What about electrical? 90-some+% would be men. 90-some+% electrical personnel will be males. 2 or 3%, I'm just giving an example, are women. How you gonna have a wage gap in that? 99.99%, 99.89% of roofers are males. I'm going to all that to say something else, but on that, 1 point something, 0.1, excuse me, 0.2%, 0.34%. I'm giving an example. Roofers are women. How you gonna have a gender wage gap on that? You see, it's nonsense. But what they want to do is play with numbers and different stuff. But you still need numbers, but you need reality numbers. They're leaving all these different jobs, these different careers and stuff like that, right? Whereas 90-some% males in that. It ain't just that the men are telling the women you can't be there, especially in 2025, please. No, many women don't want to be in technology like that. But you still got people pushing to get women in those fields. And how resources are going to a woman like that. But notice this, they're not pushing these free resources or furlough resources or whatever they do. They're not doing that to any equivalent to Black American males. Nope. Because there's a push in closing to get more numbers of certain type of Anglo women, the ones applies to, in various political positions more, in various other corporate positions more, in various other entities in America more. This is what they want. And they really are trying to push out more males. Now, again, to my Anglo males. Now, that ain't going to happen anytime soon. Probably ain't ever happen at all. Close to it. But they're pushing out as many as they can. Because they want to be, like I showed you, with the Wonder Woman type situation. They want more women in control. They don't like males telling them nothing. And they love throwing out the misogyny card left and right. And again, I've used calling numbers of those warped feminists, I call them misandryness type people. Misogynist. You're a misogynist. You're a misogynist. When they say call misogynist, you're a misogynist. And I don't even say that a gigantic, because I don't even argue with them like that. I really don't. Now, for the ones who like to argue with some of these little weird type of feminists, or some of these little warped Sister of Chaos members, good luck to them. As long as it's a benefit to them. Most of the time, there's no benefit to argue with a warped feminist and warped type of Sister of Chaos members. And some of these other warped feminists from some different cultures and backgrounds, the ones it applies to. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.